Welcome to episode 8 of the Bobby Pickles podcast. This episode, along with episodes 6 and 7, were all recorded on the eve of the Mayan Apocalypse, December 20th in the year of our Lord, 2012. I was feeling pretty amped up that night, so I decided to tape some shows. On this particular episode, I speak with Dina Rae. Dina is a loving wife and mother who resides in the Chicago suburbs, writing novels of fiction about what we both agree to be non-fiction subject matter. Conspiracy theories, Illuminati, Freemasonry. Looks like Alex Jones and Stephen King just had a zombie baby who speaks with a Midwest twang. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Bobby Pickles podcast.
Bobby Pickles podcast. He always says, "That's me." With a look on his face, he'll talk about anything. Tattoos, t-shirts, politics, history, and hot sauce on everything. Bobby Pickles. Pop culture, documentaries, conspiracy theories, sarcasm, and beer. It's a conversation, start listening, cause we're all here. Bobby Pickles podcast.
That's me, Dina Rae.
Hi, Bobby.
Wow, you sound so lively.
I know, she sounds very
Thanks for having me on your show.
I appreciate you being on. Thank you for being on the Bobby Pickles podcast. You're an author, Dina?
Yes.
So what do you talk about in your books? Like, what is the main focus of the books that you write?
They're all fiction. My first book, The Last Degree, is about New World Order and Freemasons and other secret societies taking over the world. And
Matt, my friend here is sitting in today, Matt Fernandez. He does like voices and stuff like that. He's crazy. But I've always had conversations with him about this because this is one of my goals. I feel like I want to join the club, not be afraid of it. So I always ask him if he would kindly induct me into the Masons because his father is a Mason. That's how you get in. I guess lineage, or they have to ask you if you can be a part of it. You can't just like go up, right? Is that true or what? Am I off base? Tell me, Matt.
Well, I can't really get into discussion with that, but normally you're supposed to be invited into the Freemason.
Matt, you're a Freemason?
Yes.
Oh, please read my book. I'd love to hear what you think of it.
Say he's a Freemason. That's why I wanted to be on this.
But other than that, you know, a lot of people talk bad about the Freemasons and everything, but honestly, it's they don't know much about what's been going on and everything else. But I think that it's just, you know, everybody can pull stuff on the internet and people would believe it. So I just feel like, you know what?
So tell me, Matt, what is the Freemasons? Tell me what it's all about.
You know, it's a secret society. It's basically a group where, you know, we believe in one God. We look out for each other, but overall, like, it depends. If you were someone higher, because they go by degrees, if you go a little bit higher than a lower rank, of course, you're definitely gonna know a lot more. But
Yeah, so you're a lower rank, right? I mean, you're just beginning your career in Masonry. I guess it's not a career, but anyway. So yeah, but anyway, all secret societies. I mean, like it's interesting about Kennedy, right? I mean, Kennedy, he was assassinated and stuff. I was just talking to a guy on the podcast a couple days ago about this. He wrote a book called Headshot. He was talking about how like the standard story was that he got shot from the back, but from the video you could obviously see his head cocked back. And I mentioned about the secret society speech. You know, and I thought that maybe had something to do with it. Who knows? But he definitely warned us on these secret groups. Do you have any insight on that at all, Dina?
Oh, yeah. Kennedy was not obviously very popular president, but he wasn't in with the in crowd, meaning the Freemasons and the Bilderbergs and the Council of Foreign Relations. No disrespect, Matt. And in my book, I even mentioned that 99% of the Freemasons are cool and they're on the up and up and they do good works. It's this last degree, this 33rd degree, probably 31, 32s too, that are the ones that are the inner circle per se. And
yeah, and it's all like working yourself up the ranks through those degrees, right? And then you get up there and then they tell you what the real deal is.
Yeah, right. You're in with the in crowd. You're at the Bilderberg group meeting.
The Bilderberg group, obviously, for anybody that doesn't know what the Bilderberg group is, can you tell me about the Bilderberg group? What is that?
Sure. It met a few months ago in Chantilly, Virginia. They hold an annual meeting in the U.S., Canada, or Europe every year, and everybody who's anybody attends, and the media is not allowed to cover it. That's why so many people don't know about it, because the news will not cover it. It's got security up the wazoo. Nobody knows who pays for that. Every head of state, every head of business corporations, the world's leading scientists, the rich oil-laden sheiks, all of them go to this thing, and nobody really knows why they're meeting, because they refuse to talk to the media about it. And
Dina, you sound so nice and sweet. What made you want to get into all this stuff, all this subversive stuff, like the Bilderberg Group and all these things?
Well, conspiracy theory has been a passion of mine for many, many years, and I always wanted to write a book, so I thought I'd write about something that I follow. And again, no disrespect to Matt, because a lot of Freemasons have given me flack on this book, but I do believe that they and other secret societies are setting up the world right now as we speak, and we'll soon end up borders as we know it, and we will be one world government.
So, I'm sorry, because I know you were going to ask.
No, go on.
So, pretty much, you're just like Jesse Ventura, because, Jesse Ventura...
Oh, I love him.
Like, he does the conspiracy
I
theory.
love Jesse Ventura, too. He's great, man. I think he's awesome.
I love him.
Jesse Ventura, like, I've actually read his book with, Conspiracy Theories. He wrote a book. Like, he touched base about Area 51. It really interests me, because especially when, you're trying to figure out, like, does Area 51 exist? Like, would he test out, like, alien aircrafts or something like that?
That's one thing that I'm into. Now that Matthew brought that up, are you into that at all? Ancient astronaut theory? Do you know what that is?
Is that how they all, like, did an acting stint on the moon and it never happened? Is that
No,
what you're talking
ancient
about?
astronaut theory supposes that all of the world's religions stem from alien encounters that have happened throughout time. Like they've always come down here. They've come down to the Mayans, the Egyptians, and they visited them. And these human beings mistook technology, basically, and all the world's religions stem from that. If you look at some of like the statues made, and there's this one in particular called the Bearded Man. I guess we thought that it was a beard, but if you really look at it, it looks like actually almost like an astronaut, like it's a helmet over the head. And so I just thought that was really interesting. And they say that Area 51, maybe that actually did happen, like the crash at Roswell did happen, in fact, and then Americans kept it secret so that they can reverse engineer all of the debris that they found, and that's where a lot of our current technology comes from, like with telecommunications, comes from aliens, and that's why they want to keep it secret, to somehow get an advance on, the Russians and all these other countries as well, so to push us forward. But anyway, that's what that is.
Now, as you're explaining it, I know what you're talking about. I watched that show, Ancient Aliens, a lot. Did you watch that one?
Exactly. That's what Ancient Aliens is based on, and that's all it's based on. Ancient astronaut theory, and that's what that is. All the religions spawned from aliens coming down and visiting our early ancestors, and them seeing like technology like spaceships or whatever, and then mistaking that for some kind of heavenly angel or whatever it is. Anyway.
It makes sense. They still don't know how they built those pyramids in Egypt. I mean, each stone weighs like 5 tons, and the wheel wasn't even invented. So
it's crazy. Crop circles, like all kinds of different things. Those crop circles are so precise. It's nuts that someone would just come down in the middle of the night and just make that happen. I mean, somebody said they don't know if aliens are exactly real, but they know alien encounters are, because there's so many people that have alien encounters.
So you guys believe that?
Yeah, sometimes you wonder though. I mean, some of them sound legit, but some of them.
But that could be part of this too, though. Maybe the Bilderberg Group. Maybe they know about this stuff. Maybe they know they're part of this. Maybe they're reverse engineering all that shit. They don't want us to know.
So let me ask you a question, Dina. Do you believe that aliens do exist?
Well, I'm a Christian, and I'm open to the idea, but I believe that people are confusing aliens with angels.
So
I mean, you were just saying that, people thought they were angels, but they're really aliens. Well, I believe the flip of that people now they think that they're aliens, but they're really angels.
Wow, okay. instead of being aliens, these people are actually seeing angels coming down. So you believe in like the end of the world as far as the lines of Christianity, what Christianity talks about, the end of days. Is that right?
Absolutely. Revelation, Daniel, Jeremiah, Jude. I think there's 750 something prophecies in the Bible. And so far, over 500 of them have come true to the letter. Now,
Really?
the odds of that are billions and billions to the 10th powers to 1 of that happening. So,
And are we increasing? Are we like getting to the end of the story or something? I mean,
there's only about 150 prophecies that have not happened yet.
wow.
So when you look at it like that, I mean, a lot of people who are not Christian or any religion will scoff and think that that's just one big fairy tale that was written a zillion years ago and whatever. But then how come all of these things happen? How come they got 100% accuracy so far? So.
Well, what kind of Christian are you? Are you just like a broad Christian, or are you Catholic, or are you Protestant, or what is that? Baptist? Non-denominational? Okay. So you have a lot of different people. You maybe even have some like expatriates of other Christianity sects, right? Like Catholicism that end up in your church?
I would say that we're probably the closest to evangelical, but you're right. It's a big
it seems interesting, though, that you come from this evangelical Christian religion and that you believe in all this stuff. I mean, do you feel like there's other people like that who write about the Bilderberg Group and conspiracy theory stuff? Because I never thought that they would even adopt that kind of train of thought.
Oh, absolutely. This whole New World Order, secret society, Freemason thing is a very Christian belief in a lot of circles. A lot of people are not Christians believe in it, but there's plenty of Christians who align it with prophecy of the Bible.
Tell me more about that.
Well, for instance, one show that I watch every now and then is a religious show. It's half an hour long. It's called Jack Van Impe, and he's a total New World Order, end of days, and he takes the headlines from the news and applies it towards scripture. It's a very interesting show. And Pat Robertson is another one. He wrote a book about New World Order and how it's in line with the Bible.
So you like Pat Robertson? You follow him?
I wouldn't say I would vote for him or anything like that, but if you read the book, it's very interesting.
Where do you lean politically?
Politically, I am definitely not a Republican, and I am definitely not a Democrat. To me, the ideal candidate didn't run, and his name is Ron Paul. That is where I stand. And
so you're more of a libertarian, right?
Gary Johnson was who I ended up voting for, but I really preferred Ron Paul, and if his son runs, I will definitely vote for his son, because I think Rand Paul's just as enigmatic, and I think Obama and Romney are basically the same person. I just don't see any difference anymore between Democrats and Republicans. They're all about paying back their contributors.
How about Alex Jones? Do you listen to Alex Jones?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, he's good, right?
Yeah, he is good. Do you too?
Oh, absolutely. I like him, but he's definitely more. It's kind of Republican though. He's kind of leaning on the Republican side. I feel like he is. His is some kind of conservatism. But
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Especially like being from Texas,
as
well, right?
Oh yeah, Texas. Oh yeah, they're real conservative.
Absolutely. So so what are some of the other topics that you cover in your books? So the one that I saw about preparedness, right? Dr. Prepper.
Be Paranoid, Be Prepared is a short story that is kind of like a prequel to The Last Degree. The character is based on a good friend of my husband's who died a few years back from a cocaine overdose. He was a nice guy. He just got caught up in the wrong crowd.
Who is this person? What did he do?
His name was Otis, and he bounced at the strip club called Club Juana in Florida.
Where in Florida?
In Orlando, Florida.
In Orlando? I just asked because I'm from Florida originally. I'm from Tampa. Anyway.
Well, he was in love with all of the strippers, and the only time they ever paid attention to him is when he had a couple 8-balls to spare, and he's got a million stories. One time he went to the city to score some cocaine, and they made him take off his pants in the middle of the city and took his pants, and then he had to find the bus naked, and I mean, he just had like
What? Who did that? The drug dealers?
the drug dealers would make him take off his clothes and rob him, and he'd go into the city. I mean, he also lived in Chicago, and he would tell us that he'd put $100 in one pocket and $100 in another pocket, and some money up his butt, and he had money all over his body because he figured he'd get robbed a couple times before he scored. And
Okay, so this gentleman was the subject matter of your book.
right in my book, he doesn't die, he doesn't overdose, he cleans himself up and becomes this hero.
That didn't happen to him in real life, though.
No,
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. He died young, and he had a lot to live for. He just got married, and
So how does his life tie into the conspiracy theories?
oh, well, he would call all the time. If my husband wasn't home, he and I would shoot the breeze on the phone for 2 hours. He was Mr. Paranoid and probably the biggest conspiracy buff in the world.
Is that what really got you into it all? Having these conversations with him?
No, because I was pretty deep into that kind of line of thinking anyway. But he and I just kind of clicked on all of that, and he was Mr. Second Amendment. He had an arsenal that could, supply a small army. And
Okay, let's talk about this now. Okay, this is right in the news. Yeah, it's a travesty that happened at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Now, actually, even though I'm from Florida, my parents are from Connecticut, and they're from Bridgeport.
Is that by Newton?
Yeah, it's right there. I mean, do you share the same belief in the Second Amendment that any citizen should be allowed to have automatic weapons? I mean, I understand about guns. Have guns. I mean, you should be able to hunt. You should be able to do whatever. You should be able to defend yourself reasonably. But automatic weapons?
No, I don't. Not automatic.
Okay, that's the debate. The whole gun control thing isn't taking everybody's weapons away from them 100%. We have a really liberal outlook in America when it comes to guns and gun possession. I have a friend right now who's in Australia. His name's Mr. Beatty. And even in Australia, he was telling me how talks to these people from all over the world and what they think about America. And America is so liberal in their gun laws where anybody can attain like assault rifles and all these automatic weapons. I just feel like that's a little overboard. You shouldn't be able to do that. I think there's more facets to this, and it's more about like our culture and the way we treat people, and we treat like people that have mental disorders and stuff like that. That plays a role as well. But I also think that we like let people get those tools that enable you to be able to go shoot up a school like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my heart just goes out to all of the lives that were destroyed. It's evil at its finest.
But the prepared people that you write about, they wouldn't feel the same, right?
Well, right now, no, assault weapons are really not something that we need. But if New World Order was taking place, I mean, Obama and his administration want nothing more than to get rid of the Second Amendment. They don't want guns on the street at all.
Do you think that things happening like the tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, like the Sandy Hook Elementary slaughter that happened by that kid Lonzo, do you think those kinds of incidents are being put in place by the people of the New World Order in order to take our guns away so that if we do an uprising like the French Revolution, let them eat cake. We go in there and we storm the castle. We take all the kings and we behead them. They kind of take away our guns, so we can't do that.
Bobby, you hit the nail right on the head. Of course they don't want us armed, because takeover would be a lot more easier if nobody had any guns. The Second Amendment is the Second Amendment for a reason. Our forefathers did not want government to ever be in a position to take our rights away. They wanted us to defend ourselves.
But we didn't have assault weapons then back in the day, though. We didn't have, like, in 1776... We didn't have like you can go buy a freaking cannon in your hand and then go take out everybody. I mean, the times change though, don't you think?
It's a very slippery slope. Like, you don't want the crazy people to have the guns, but then define crazy and define who's not crazy, and
right.
It's a hard one, but you got to have a Second Amendment. You just cannot.
I have a funny thing, and I'll go ahead and admit right on here. I don't even care. All right, and this is it's something personal. I shouldn't even be bringing up, but because it's very personal and it kind of sucks in my life that this happened. But when I was 18 years old, okay, when I had just turned 18, I was like 3 months after I turned 18. I got a felony. Okay, I got arrested for something non-sexual, non-violent, drug unrelated, completely. It was something stupid that I did as a kid or whatever. If I told you right now, I'd be so dumb. But I got a felony for this particular thing, and it followed me forever. Even though I went to college and I turned my life completely around at the time, and I was just a bad kid, I was just pretty much a child still. So it haunted me for years, and it wasn't until like 2004 where I actually got my executive clemency back, where the governor of the state is able to give you back your rights.
Like an expungement?
Well, not an expungement. An expungement, I couldn't get it because, like, whenever it happened, I pled guilty. And if you plead guilty, my parents were trying to teach me a lesson, so they didn't give me a lawyer or anything. They made me get one of, like, the free public attorneys or whatever. They just told me, like, I should just plead guilty or whatever and just do the probation or whatever it was. And by pleading guilty, though, you cannot be expunged afterwards. So that I totally screwed myself later on in life. You had to wait like 7 years, and then you were able to apply for expungement. But because I found out that I had pled no contest or whatever it was, I could not get that done. But anyway, I got this executive clemency, which is kind of the same thing. I'm able to vote and stuff like that. I got my other rights back, but I will never, ever have my right to bear arms back.
That's not fair.
And I was part of an actual, I even talked about this on my podcast with my friend who is involved in this. Also, we were both roommates at the time, and we experienced a home invasion where we were actually some kids, like 17-year-old kids. They robbed all these cars, and they're invading all these houses. They had guns and stuff. They robbed all these places, and then they got arrested finally afterwards. They went on this spree, and my house was involved in this. So I was actually part of a home invasion where guns were like pointed at me and stuff. And I am not allowed to have a gun to own, even though it's this. So it's just like, I am the biggest proponent of gun rights. I think that you should absolutely, even for felons, certain felons, it should be taken into account, like how old you were, how long it's been since the time of the incident. What was it? You didn't like go and like rob somebody at gunpoint or whatever. Oh, it was something stupid. Even certain felonies are ridiculous, where they totally take all your rights away for the rest of your life.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's if you had a gun with you when you were involved as a victim in that robbery, that might have changed things a little bit.
Yeah, everything turned out fine though. I was able to use my own wits to get out of it actually. But I think that you should be able to have a gun though, just in case. You never know. I got very lucky. I was very fortunate in that thing that happened to us. And they got scared by me coming out. I was in a back room, and I came out of the back room, and all this was taking place. They didn't know that I was there, and I just started like shouting and screaming at them, and they just ran away because I could have had something. They didn't know. It was like fight or flight mode, and my fight mode kicked in, and they left. But anyway, like right now, I think I should be able to own a gun. I bet you I can go get a gun. That's the thing. I bet you if I tried, I could probably go get a gun right now, even though I'm not supposed to have one. I should do that as just a test and see if they'd sell me one.
You should. And one thing I'd like to point out, though, like for all the people like you who want to be above board and do everything right and get your gun card and all of that, how many criminals are there that aren't allowed to have any guns but do have guns? I mean, there's a whole black market for guns. They think that just because you can't get your gun license or whatever, that that's gonna stop you from getting a gun. I mean, anybody can get a gun.
That is true, but don't you think that's because we've had the laws the way they are, where they're just anybody can buy them, so that kind of like leads to be able to do the black market kind of thing? I mean, because then if anybody could buy them, they could turn around and buy it and sell it to somebody else who maybe doesn't have the right to bear arms or something like that, some kind of disenfranchised criminal person. I think it's right to take away their gun rights from criminals, but I just don't think that it's right to take away from all criminals. I think that it should be on a case-by-case basis kind of thing.
I agree. It should be common sense.
Just like voting, too. Voting, they do that also. They do that to disenfranchise people.
That whole electoral system is a joke to me. I don't care for that. It should be the popular vote that these guys win, not the electoral vote. And I just really think it's fixed anyway. I'm so negative towards the way things have been working in the last 10, 20 years. I can't really see us progressing as a country. We're just kind of going backwards.
So what do you think about when you see that kind of thing happen with the shooting in Newtown, and you yourself are a mother?
It's disgusting, but to use it as a tool for gun control or getting rid of guns altogether, that's even more disgusting. And guns don't kill people, people kill people. And I mean, not to get off topic here, but that was a terrible massacre, but there was a massacre that was 4 times worse, if you recall, about a year and a half ago, summertime of 2011. There was a Freemason who shot up 80 people on an island in Norway, 80 young people on a retreat. And I was just talking about this with my mother, and I'm like, well, what happened to him? We heard about the incident. Then there were pictures of him dressed up in all of his Freemason regalia, and no reply. You know, I mean, we don't know what happened to this guy. And I don't think it has anything to do with the gun laws.
What do you think it has to do with?
Well, mental health, or who knows? I mean...
What can be contributing to the mental health, though, this bad? It seems like everybody's breaking down and going crazy. I mean, is it like our TV? Do you think that's probably a contributor?
I don't know. I mean, we had that one guy a few days before Newtown with the shopping mall, and then we had the guy in the summer with the Dark Knight Rises movie.
Right.
Then the one guy who ate the homeless guy's skin off.
Oh my God, yeah, the zombie apocalypse guy. You read about that stuff too, don't you?
Canada who sent his girlfriend different body parts of people he killed.
Whoa, I never heard about that one.
That was in the summer too. It was a bizarre.
Matt, did you hear about that?
I heard about the cop in New York.
Yeah.
Who likes to cook women.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one.
He had a desire of he went on to like a dating site, and he's trying to figure out a perfect size for his stove. The perfect weight, the perfect height, I mean, everything. And he would tell people bluntly, like, yeah, it just feels so good to eat someone. And something about, like, he loves when a woman cries in a stove because it cooks better. Like,
what? Jesus.
Yeah.
How are those Chicago cops out there? You're in Chi-Town, right? Or the outskirts or something like that?
I'm right on the outskirts. I would consider myself a Chicagoan. Now you're in New York, or you're in New Jersey?
New York City.
I always wanted to go there.
You never been?
No, it's definitely on my top places to go before I die. I definitely want to go.
Well, Chicago's a hell of a city too, right?
A lot smaller, from my understanding, but yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it gets really cold out there. Aren't you guys experiencing your first snow right now or something?
Our winter has been like a Florida winter. It's been 50, 60 degrees. It was real rainy today, but I guess it's going to start snowing.
Do you believe in climate change?
I don't believe in the scientific explanation of it, and I don't believe there's any proof of that.
Wait, what do you mean? You don't believe that humans cause it at all?
I think all that's a bunch of bull. This whole ozone layer and this carbon footprint and all, I think that's a bunch of crap.
It is?
Wait,
yeah.
Why then? Why are we experiencing climate change right now?
Well, you're probably going to laugh
Couldn't it
at
be a
me.
possibility, though? Do you just discount the whole possibility of that? We really don't know anything, do we? I mean, we really don't. And you can't just discount a possibility that it could be us that's doing it.
That's what they tell you. I believe in that. Do you ever hear that HAARP? HAARP?
No, tell me what it is.
About 6 of these plants in the world that some people believe can cause climate change, can cause tsunamis, can cause earthquakes, can cause hurricanes. They're all located in the middle of nowhere in the northern hemisphere. They are very top secret, and supposedly they can send waves through the Earth's crust and cause these kinds of happenings.
Oh my God, really? HAARP? Would they be part of this like New World Order thing?
Bobby, of course, that's, of course.
So you believe plants causes tsunami and all that kind of stuff?
They've got electromagnetic pulses that get into the Earth's crust and underneath the oceans and can send out blasts to create catastrophic events.
Have you heard of those planes that they fly around and they...
Chemtrails?
Yeah, chemtrails.
Yeah, oh yeah. It certainly explains the cancer clusters they have. You know how some towns, like everybody's got cancer. And...
Have you ever heard of... Matt doesn't... He's got a confused look on his person. What...
Well, I'm certainly not a scientist, but from my understanding, they're planes that fly around. Most people seem to think there's a government link to them, and they have chemicals in the smoke that's emitted from the exhaust system, and they cause cancer, cause different other kinds of diseases, and it's all part of a governmental experiment.
But isn't it like for weather patterns too? Like they think that if they spray certain chemicals up in the air or whatever or something, it causes more rain to come down. It comes from that kind of thing. That's what I thought. I don't know. I'm not a scientist either. I was an English major, which is the exact opposite.
You're probably right. I heard of the disease angle, but your way makes perfect sense too.
Yeah. Okay. So the preppers though, these prepper people, so they would not be happy with this that's going on right now. I'd imagine, and they believe that Obama's going to take away all their assault rifles and all their weapons, so that when the end of days is happening, they won't be able to protect themselves, right?
Do you watch Doomsday Preppers?
No, I don't. What is that?
Matt, do you watch it?
Yes, I've seen it. It's
course,
crazy.
Matt's seen it.
Please watch it.
Why?
It pretty much sums it up.
What is it, Matt?
Basically, people just create things to prep themselves for the apocalypse. Like if the world was going to come to an end, they would create like certain things like
like bunkers?
Yeah, like bunkers.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna. Oh, really? There's a there's a reality show about people like creating bunkers and like having a stock on assault rifles and like canned food.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's a great show.
Yeah, that would be good TV. No, I'm into watching that. I should watch that. Absolutely, I should watch more TV.
I have a question for Dina, by the way.
Oh, go.
So, Dina, do you believe that the world is going to come to an end tomorrow?
No, I don't. But I actually got a little side story to tell you guys. Here in the Chicago burbs, I got two daughters. One's a sophomore in high school. Her school, I got a phone call and an email. There's already bomb threats going around. A lot of people are taking advantage of this end of the world thing, and my husband and I were going to call in for her for school. Just you better safe than sorry with this Newtown thing and everything. But
you know what? Hey, if I had a kid, maybe I would do that too.
It's the day before Christmas break. They're not going to do anything anyway. So
right, exactly. I think that's smart.
People are taking advantage of this, and my other daughter, everybody's all excited, and they're wearing their, zombie apocalypse shirts for school, and
zombie apocalypse shirts.
Such a bunch of bull when it comes to the end of the world. Because if you think about it, right now we're on December 20th. Australia should be December 21st. So when the people say the Mayans predicted that the world is going to end exactly December 21st. They didn't specifically say other countries going to be December 22nd. So I'm like, would it be like a widespread or something? Was the Mayans smoking something and say, hey?
They most definitely were smoking stuff, and they were eating psilocybin mushrooms, and they were tripping on ayahuasca and all kinds of other stuff. What do you think about that?
Well, you know what? I've long cleaned my act up, but back in the day, I've seen a lot of Grateful Dead shows, and I get what you're saying.
No, there's actually I'm not like advocating doing drugs and stuff like that. I'm just saying that there's some people that talk about the way that human beings evolved. Actually, there's one thing about the stoned ape theory that like apes were around, and obviously we're omnivores or actually, what apes eat a lot of fruit and stuff like that, and a lot of vegetables.
Pop-Tarts?
Could have easily been plucked out of a little cow patty there and plopped in their mouth, and then that experience, that trip, brings them into a different dimension and maybe cause the brain to start evolving or whatever. But that's the stoned ape theory.
I've never heard of the stoned ape theory, but
I believe that the people that are in control, all the money lenders, they do not want us to have marijuana or psilocybin mushrooms and ayahuasca and all kinds of other things like that, because it will I think that's like a tool that will open you up and start thinking about these other possibilities and start questioning things and not be just sheep and just going along with corporatism and consumerism, buying stuff all the time and just being in your little hovel and your little tunnel vision and ethnocentricity and thinking that it's all about just America. We live in one full world, This is a one human race, and we're all connected.
I agree.
Sorry for going off on a crazy thing there. But
No. Hey, you're talking about, getting stone theories. I mean, do you ever watch the show Big Love about the Mormons?
no. God, the Mormons are crazy, though, right? I mean,
That whole religion was found from Joseph Smith, who, after smoking a bunch of peyote with the Indians, saw Jesus and was told by Jesus to start this new religion.
Well, this new Book of Mormon, it was part of Christianity, but it was another book that he would write, almost like he's another apostle. And then he created the whole Book of Mormon and the whole Mormon religion, which is based on Christianity, but it happened like 1800 and something in America, in like Utah.
Yeah.
Or something, right in the middle of nowhere.
That's insane.
But yeah, absolutely, stuff like that. Or Scientology, which is a big thing in Florida, where I'm from, especially where I'm from, because I'm from the Tampa area, I'm from St. Petersburg. And Clearwater, which is part of the same metro area, that's where their headquarters is, in Clearwater, Florida. And I would grow up going by all the Scientologists, and they'd be walking around with their Navy suits on. They look like Navy guys. And then my friends would, somebody probably just like Matt over here, he would yell out, "Oh, you believe in astronauts," or something like that. But like that's another thing. That's anybody can come up with their own religion and stuff. And
that religion fascinates me because it was founded by a science fiction novelist. I mean,
exactly.
Was it Tom Cruise Scientology or something like that?
Yeah, he's a Scientologist, and so is John Travolta as
and
well.
Kirstie Alley and
Kirstie Alley is too.
Yeah, a lot of those Hollywood
Cheers?
types.
Yeah, she was on Cheers, right? Kirstie Alley.
She was, yeah. She was like fat one day, she's skinny the next.
It's called liposuction. The money that she had.
No, I think she had her stomach stapled or something. I don't know. How did she lose how did she lose all her weight? Do you know, Dina?
You know what? She goes from 120 pounds to 300 pounds in like a week.
She went back up. She gained all that weight back.
Yeah.
God, sucks.
I feel bad for her too. Something must be definitely wrong.
You see, how many books do you have altogether? You have 3 books altogether that you've written?
I have 3 novels, a 4th novel on the way, and my newest novel is on sale for $1.99.
$1.99?
$1.99, and it's gotten 12 reviews from real reviewers and a 4.5 average.
Where can listeners purchase your novel?
Amazon. Barnes and Noble too, but
they can Can they download an electric version on their Kindle?
Absolutely. The Last Degree is the New World Order one. Bad Juju is my newest one, and that's about voodoo. My middle one is called Halo of the Damned, and that's about fallen angels, and there's going to be a sequel in the spring of 2013.
Weren't you saying something about fallen angels, Matt?
Yeah, I seen a video on YouTube about fallen angels, and it's creeping me out.
What is fallen angels?
Fallen angels are in the Bible. If you read the Bible, there was a war in heaven, and Lucifer and a third of all of the angels tried to overthrow God, and he won, and he ousted them out of heaven. And my book's about not Lucifer, but one of the other fallen angels that went with him, because he didn't do this by himself. He had a third of the angels in heaven back him for this war, and
oh, that's an interesting premise for a book.
yeah. The one angel is on Earth, and he starts fornicating with women, and they have this breed called Nephilim, which is in the Bible as well. And it's all angel lore from
that's all in the Bible too?
Yeah. Bible and the Torah. A lot of conspiracy theory is in that book, and that one's been reviewed over 50 reviews, 4.5 average. It's a pretty popular book, and the sequel will come out in 2013.
And then what about like a website? Do you have a website that people can go to?
Yes, DinaRae.co, and that's DINARAE.co, C-O. Not com, because that was taken by a backup singer who works with Eminem.
Okay.
My Twitter handle is at Halo of the Damned. Love to hear from whoever, and
Dina, I thought that, I saw that you were on Shade 45.
Yeah, I was on Rude Jude and Lord Sear, and they were kind of roasting me, which is fine. I laughed. They weren't as nice as you are.
No, I'm definitely, I'm very liberal-minded, open-minded person, and I like talking about this kind of stuff. And I think there's something to it, okay? And I think that they're just dismissing it because they're trying to catch all the middle road types, those people that are just going along with their lives and being consumers and all the other stuff that we were talking about on this podcast. Anyway, I appreciate the conversation. Thank you so much for talking to me, Dina. I encourage everybody to go out and check out Dina Rae. That's DINARAE.co. C-O. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Patty. And thanks. Nice meeting you, Matt.
Nice meeting you too.
Good luck with your Freemason career.
For the Bobby Pickles podcast in New York City, I'm Bobby Pickles.